let's go over the purchase and sales agreement. This is a 2-page agreement. It's very straightforward. It's straight to the point. Sellers love it because it's not like you're throwing a book at them and say, hey, read this, sign this, right? It gets straight to the point. It's simple to fill out, just fill in the blanks. Only thing you're going to change out from deal to deal is the date, seller's name, maybe the buyer's name if you're buying it in a different name or entity, property address, county. You may change earnest money deposits depending on if you're going up or down or if you're just going to keep it the same on each deal. And the closing date. So pretty much everything else just stays the same. You just fill in the blanks and then, you sign, you get the seller to sign, you send it to the attorney's office. So let's just go over this purchase and sale agreement so you can understand what's going on. So at the top, as you can see, it says this agreement is made, this blank, that's where you will put your date at. Between seller, blank, that's where the seller's name will go. Then where it says and buyer, that's where the buyer name will go. And then as you can see right next to the buyer, it says and or assign. Now this part is very important that you understand what and or assign means. That means you can legally assign your contract to an end buyer. Because if you're not licensed if you're not a licensed realtor or broker, you cannot legally sell someone else's house. You only can sell your own house. So if you're not a licensed agent or broker, you cannot legally sell someone's house you do not own. All right, but it is legal to assign your contract to an end buyer. It happens every day. Mortgages get sold all the time. So just make sure you have and or assign right after your name or entity's name. I have it in my agreement. You have it in your agreement because you have the same purchase and sale agreement that I use. So it's already in there for you. Just leave it there, fill in the blank. But just know, you always need and or assign to legally assign your contract, okay? Let's move forward. Seller agrees to sell and buyer agrees to buy the following described real property together with all improvements and fixtures and the personal property described below. Then you street address, you fill in the street address, then county, put in the county, legal description, leave it blank. You don't have to put that in there. Just leave it blank. If your attorney want it in there, they'll put it in there. Just leave it blank. Then when you come down where it says personal property included, property sold as is condition. All right, that means how it looks, that's how you buying it. Okay. Then you drop down where it says earnest money deposit. If you're going to pay the seller any earnest money, you will put that dollar amount right there. In most cases, you really won't have to pay any earnest money. I normally don't. If I do pay any earnest money, it might be like $10, if that. A lot of times I don't even have to pay earnest money. Most people say pay something to make the deal legal. In my opinion, if once they sign and I sign, or my company sign, I just sign on behalf of my company, it's legal. But if it makes you feel better, put at least $10 earnest money on your deal. And then you just put those $10 earnest money deposit right there where it says earnest money. Then cash to sell at closing, whatever you agreed upon. So for instance, if you say, hey, I'm going to buy this property at $50,000, that's where you put that at. But if you did paying the earnest money, so like if you did $1,000 earnest money at closing, you'll pay $49,000. So then you got existing loans and liens. In most cases, you might not they might have a clear title, but if they do have a existing loan or liens, you'll put that right there, and then the attorney will make the deductions at closing. New loan to seller at closing, leave it blank because it's a cash deal. Purchase price, you'll put the purchase price, whatever y'all agreed upon. Then right here where it says the purchase price to be paid as follow, buyer will pay all closing costs minus any unpaid taxes. Again, like I told you in the early module, it's that the seller's it's the seller's responsibility to pay their own taxes. Unless for some odd reason you agreed with the seller that you'll pay them, but in most cases they're going to pay it. That's why it's already in there. You can just leave it in there, and like I say, the attorney will make the adjustments on the seller side when he get ready to distribute funds. And then where it says earnest money is not refundable. Buyer has 3 days to deposit earnest money, right? So if you did pay in the earnest money, I mean, you have 3 days to give it to the buyer. Seller, give it to the seller. Like I say, if you do pay in the earnest money, we really don't just give it directly to the seller unless you're talking like $10. Then that's fine if you want to do that. But if you're talking like $500 and up, or $300 and up, something to that degree, even $100, you may want to send it to escrow. It's just cleaner that way. And we always make sure that our earnest money is non-refundable, especially when we're dealing with our end buyer. Okay, and so if you drop down to number 2, the balance due, seller in the amount of whatever you agreed upon, that's where that'll go. If you say, hey, I'm buying this out for $50,000, that's where you put that at. Okay. And let me scroll down. Give me 1 second. And let's skip all the way down to number 5, closing date and title and transfer of title. So the closing date, you will put whatever day that you tentatively want to close. You'll put that date in, and then wherever you want to have the closing at, whatever your attorney's office is called, you'll put that attorney's name or their firm's name right there. And then you'll scroll down, and you come down here. Seller sign and date it, buyer sign and date it, and that's it. That's it. Now, one thing I do when I'm going to wholesale this deal, if I don't want to get the title pulled until I get an end buyer, I just hold I'll just hold this agreement until I get an end buyer. Then once I get the agreement signed with the end buyer, I submit all the documents at one time. But if you want to go ahead and get title pulled, make sure you got a clean title. Go ahead and send this. Once you get it signed from the seller and you sign it, make sure you go ahead and get it turned into your attorney's office and have them go ahead and start working on the title right away. Now, they'll go ahead, most attorneys, they'll go ahead and start working on a title without you paying for it up front. Title search, I want to say it runs for roughly around $250. Depending on where you at, it could be a little less or a little more. So, hope that's what's helpful for you.